Today we go to the Atlanta Voiceover Studio email bag. My question is about the amount of money it takes as an initial investment to start a voiceover business. In any small business, there is startup capital for opening the doors and surviving your first year. I know I need money for equipment, training, and, well, not sure exactly. I'm just starting out down the VO path and I'm looking for an estimate of what it may take to begin becoming a voiceover actor and business. Great email. And I have the answers you seek, D. First, thanks for emailing, D, and also thank you for reading the newsletter. Link in the description if you want to get free voiceover tips each week. Dee's got a great business mindset, and she's exactly right. What do you expect? There is a startup cost to any new biz venture. I always liken it to what it takes to open a restaurant, except you're not spending a couple $100,000 to open it. Or more. Starting a voiceover career will cost way less than opening a restaurant. But still, there are startup expenses. Instead of a brick and mortar store, your storefront will be your website. Instead of a kitchen where you cook the food, your kitchen will be your home studio. Instead of bringing in chefs or cooks, you're going to be the chef and cook. Getting the training you need to serve up something vocally delicious to clients and agents and casting directors. And instead of spending tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars advertising your restaurant in radio or TV or in print, you're going to spend way less doing that marketing on your own. How? Reaching out to potential clients, going to industry conferences, going to related industry conferences like advertising, making those connections. And if you need help with that, we have an online business branding and marketing course that you can take. It's on demand. I'll link it in the description. But to answer Dee's question about an estimate, I honestly don't know. It really does depend on each person though, and what equipment they may already have. So if you would, allow me just a few seconds to dial it in a little bit more. The 4 things that you will really need are, number 1, training. Now, I know Dee is taking our beginner voiceover intensive course, which is a great course as she's getting the foundational techniques as well as learning the overall business that's going to set her up for the long haul. If you need help setting up that foundation, check out our beginner voiceover intensive. I'll link those in the description as well. Number 2, a home studio. Now, if you already have a computer, that's a big expense that's already taken care of, so you don't need to worry about that. And if you do need equipment, we have equipment recommendations at kit.co/pro voiceover training. I'll link that too, but we specifically created it with kits so that you can find something in your price range. And for the sake of this video and Dee's question, I'll break down those prices. So starting out, you don't need to spend $1,000 or $2,000 on a Sennheiser or a Neumann. Those are microphones in case you don't know. Rode is another great brand, and they've got some fantastic microphones at different price points. You can actually find a great mic from $200 to $500. After a microphone, you're going to need a preamp and cables. Those around $215. You could spend more, you might spend less. But if you go to our kit.co/pro voiceover training page, we've got it laid out pretty simply so you can add up what you might need to spend. So you've got your computer, you've got your microphone, you've got your cables, and you got your preamp. How do you set it all up? Well, you're going to need a little coaching from a guy named Dan. Dan teaches our home studio workshop, and that'll help with equipment as well as treating your space, which means putting up sound absorption, whether it be clothes, foam, bass traps. He'll help you sort that out. Then you got to put it all together and you need a digital audio workspace, a DAW. Audacity's free, or you could pay a monthly amount with Adobe Audition. Both are quality DAWs. And there are a bunch of others out there like Twisted Wave. A lot of voice talent use Reaper, GarageBand, another free one, and a whole lot more. But the majority of talent that I know use either Adobe Audition or Audacity. I think you know by now. I'll link it. So I get it. All that can add up. Don't let it depress you. And I'll give you some great news in a few seconds. So number 1 was training. Number 2 was home studio. Number 3, your website. You don't need to go all flashy. Just do something basic that has your contact information and your demo if you have one. Some talent don't even have a site. But for me and what we preach here at the studio, it just makes sense to make it easy for clients and casting and agents to find you if they're looking for you. Good rule of thumb. Unless you're a celebrity with one of those blue check marks, make it easy. And finally, number 4, demo. Outside of your home studio, this is going to be the priciest expense, most likely. Demos aren't cheap, and if they are, make sure you listen to some samples before you commit. Ours at this point range from $1,400 to $1,900, depending on who you want writing it here at the studio. And like I said, you can always go elsewhere, but make sure you listen to samples and then see what they give you outside of the demo. Is it just the demo? Do you actually get each spot that was written and fully produced? Here, we put together something else that we give people who get demos with us, a demo and voiceover resource PDF. This is chock full of important information, including when you're submitting to an agent, what do? We've got helpful tips in there. We've got information on pay-to-plays, plus discounts, and a whole lot more, but it's kind of a secret. So, considering number 1 through number 4, that could tally up pretty quick, probably between 2 and 5 grand. But the good news about starting this business of voiceover, you don't have to get it all up front. Start taking classes. Then, when you're ready, start with the equipment. You can take your time and do it incrementally. And finally, the great news, once you have that home studio set up and dialed in, you can actually start doing work, getting clients, and making money. Everybody's voiceover journey is different, so no, it's not guaranteed. And when you start out, you're probably not going to be making a lot, but you'll soon find out where the work is, and you'll be able to market towards that. Getting into classes, going to conferences, and making those connections is also a great way to invest in yourself for those potential new jobs. And we also always recommend factoring in training, at least every few months, just to make sure you're keeping up with the trends and working on the craft. Staying sharp. There's always something to learn, and Dee's going about it the right way with the right mindset. Consider following in her footsteps. And no matter where you are in the country, you always have us here at the studio as a guide to help. So come in person or take classes live via Zoom. Heidi and I and the staff are here to help as much as we can. Our goal is to equip, elevate, and inspire you in your voiceover journey, and we hope we've done that. Hope you like this free content. If you did, like and subscribe, and we'll keep doing more of these videos to help you. Cheers to you and your voiceover success.